Welcome to the Box Score Sports Podcast.
What's your good for week 12?
This is kind of like a pat on my own back, but the Broncos.
Okay, yeah.
I know I had picked them as like a dark horse playoff team, um, but Bo Nix has looked the part. Like I think he's closing in on the leader for offensive rookie of the year. Um, but their defense is good. I know they gave up 19, a lot of field goals to the Raiders, but they basically beat the Chiefs minus a field goal getting blocked, and they handle the teams that aren't that good. So Sean Payton's system has paid off. And again, Bo Nix is an old rookie, not like your stereotypical, this guy's 21, which can still work. We see it with Jaden Daniels, but um, knowing what you need out of a guy and getting it done. And the Broncos look like one of those teams that it sounds cliche, but might not want to play them.
Right.
Yeah, mainly with their defense and just ball control, but they look good.
Yeah. And one thing that the Broncos have going for them too is Sutton and Nix are developing some type of chemistry. I mean, even Nix is starting to trust Sutton more, where he'll throw it up to a spot where he knows he could grab it, giving him a chance to catch it. So I think that could be really good because I always thought Sutton was a really good wide receiver. And I think like when we were doing our preview podcast, that was one thing I didn't understand. People were down on Sutton, not with all of us, but when I did it with uh, Matt and Travis, I was like, I like Sutton a lot, but I guess because it's just when you think of him with Russell Wilson for the last 2 years, he didn't really show up. But you get a solid quarterback behind him, good offensive scheme. He seems to be kind of catching fire with Knicks right now, which is good for them. They need to find a run game though, because that looks bad.
Yeah. And it's a perfect example of Sutton didn't start off the year well, but they've developed that, and
Right.
Nick's trusts him more, and Bo Nix has thrown it a little further downfield. Those first two games were like, I think that was the Seahawks week one. Like I don't think he threw the ball farther than 3 yards down the field for the first half. But you see them changing and him growing.
Yeah, agreed. My good, I'm going to give it to the Seattle Seahawks, in specific their defense. They held Kyler Murray to a QBR of 50, and then no touchdowns and interception, and also held him to only 9 yards on the ground scrambling. I think he only ran it twice even. So really contain Kyler Murray. On top of that, 14 carries for 49 yards total for the Arizona Cardinals defense, allowing only 6 points the last 2 weeks. I think it was 17 and 6 the last 2 weeks after their bye. So obviously it could be matchups as well. So we don't want to but their defense looks a little bit more together since their bye week. And because of that, and because the way they performed against the Cardinals, I'm giving the good to the Seattle Seahawks defense and the Seahawks victory.
Yeah. And when we did our NFL West preview, my uh, point about the Seahawks not being good yet was that they didn't have linebackers.
Mm-hmm.
And getting Ernest Jones, he's a good linebacker. And we mentioned, I know when I was talking with Talon, we mentioned Trice Knight, their fifth round rookie. They got two linebackers now. And in the Mike McDonald defense, if you have two linebackers, which he developed in Baltimore, that's kind of the key to stop that run, put pressure. Knight had a sack, or at least a half a sack in this game. So with that, and they've had the talent on the outside with Witherspoon, Julian Love, so on and so forth. So we'll see if it's like legit, because the Cardinals are one of those teams that one week they look awesome, the next week you would swear they never practice offense. But the Seahawks look promising. They did it the week before. Shout out to Talon. He left me a random voice message about having his jerseys dry cleaned. So I checked. I didn't recognize the number. I don't have his number saved, even though he's in our group chat. And I saw a random number call Sunday night, and then the next morning I play a voicemail, and they're like, "Oh, because my phone is my business phone. We run a cleaning business," and it was like, "Oh, I'm calling about some cleaning. I don't know if you do dry cleaning, but I have 4 Seahawks jerseys," and I'm like, but I was like, that was good. What can I say? So, but the Seahawks, they look like they've turned the corner defensively. I still have worries offensively against good teams, but the defense keeps them in it.
JSN looks good too. He's been good the last couple of weeks. Just throwing that out there. Let's go to. You ready to do the bad?
Thanks so much for watching this clip of the Box Score Sports podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to our channel. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter or X. And we'll talk to you guys real soon. See ya.